In the vast emptiness of space, Admiral Kale of the Zorath Empire stood on the bridge of his mighty flagship, the Iron Fong. His yellow eyes fixed on the viewscreen that showed planet Earth below. Everything was still. No enemy ships came to fight. No lasers lit up the sky. No alarms screamed warnings. The human defense fleet, once feared across the stars, had simply disappeared. Kale's sharp teeth showed in a wide grin. "Look at this," he said to his officers in a deep voice. The humans ran. They fled without firing a single shot. Laughter filled the bridge. The Zorath had prepared for a long bloody war. Instead, the path was wide open. The fleet moved closer without resistance. Scout ships landed on the moon outposts first. The doors were unlocked. Inside, tools lay on tables as if dropped mid-use. Screens still glowed with data. Coffee cups sat half full, now cold. But no humans. Not one. The scouts searched room after room. Empty beds. Open lockers. It felt wrong, like the people had vanished in the middle of daily life. Kale listened to the reports and laughed louder. "They are cowards. They saw our strength and ran like rats." His crew cheered. Victory without battle tasted sweet. Then came the order to land on Earth itself. Dropships touched down in the heart of the human capital. The city spread out like a giant web of metal and glass. Towers reached high. Lights blinked in windows. But the streets stayed silent. Cars waited at lights that still changed from red to green. Shops had signs saying, "Open," but no one shopped. Birds flew between buildings. A soft wind moved flags left hanging. Kale stepped out with his guards. His boots echoed on the pavement. He looked around and felt powerful. "This world is ours now," he said. "No fight. No blood. Just ours." They walked into the great council hall at the city's center. Huge doors slid open smoothly. Inside, the air was cool and clean. Hologram screens played old speeches on loop. A human leader's face appeared again and again, saying calm words about facing hard times. Kale smashed one screen with his fist. Sparks flew. "Where did they go?" he demanded. His officers searched desks and files. Nothing useful. Just maps, reports, and empty chairs. Then Lieutenant Zara, a young officer with keen eyes, spotted something. In the main hall, one large wall screen still glowed softly in the dim light. Words appeared in simple white text against black. "We leave now. Do not follow." No name. No date. No reason. Zara read it twice. A strange cold feeling ran down her back. "Admiral," she called quietly, "you should see this." Kale walked over and stared at the message. He laughed, but the sound felt forced. A final joke from losers. "They beg us not to chase them because they know we would crush them." The crew nodded and smiled. But Zara kept looking at the words. They were too calm, too certain. Like a promise, not a plea. Night came to Earth. The Zorath held a great celebration in the empty plaza outside the hall. Torches burned bright. Music played loud. They raised their black flags over human statues. Kale lifted a cup high. "No war declared. No threats made," he shouted. Humanity simply retreated. The stars belonged to the Zorath. Cheers rolled like thunder through the silent city. They drank and danced on streets that once belonged to humans. But high above, hidden in the deep black between stars, a small human scout ship floated dark and quiet. No lights. No signals. Captain Elena Reyes sat in the command chair, watching the alien party on her hidden monitor. Her face showed no joy, only a quiet sadness mixed with steel resolve. Her second-in-command leaned close. "They celebrate like they truly won," he said. Elena nodded slowly. Let them spread out. Let them claim every empty world we left behind." She touched a star chart on the wall. Red warning zones glowed, places the galaxy feared, places humans had guarded alone for ages. "We did not run from them," she whispered. "We retreated to face what comes next. Something ancient. Something hungry. Something that will swallow whole empires if we waste time on small fights." The scout ship turned silently and drifted deeper into the void. Engines stayed cold to avoid detection. Back on Earth, Kale stood alone on a high balcony after the party. He gazed at the peaceful stars. Victory felt warm in his chest, but a tiny shadow of doubt stirred. Why leave machines running? Why leave cities perfect and untouched? Why not burn it all if they feared defeat so much? He shook his head hard. "Weaklings," he muttered to the night. "Just weaklings." Down in the council hall, the lone screen flickered once. For a heartbeat, new words appeared below the old message, "Patience." Then the screen went black forever. Outside, wind whispered through empty streets. Somewhere in the far dark, human eyes watched and waited. The real story had only just started. In the days that followed the silent retreat, the Zorith Empire exploded with joy across the galaxy. News spread like wildfire through their vast network of stars. Admiral Kale's victory messages beamed to every corner. "The humans have fled," he announced in a grand speech from Earth's empty council hall. No war was needed. No threats were spoken. They saw our power and vanished into the dark. Cheers echoed from planet to planet. The Zorith people danced in their hive cities, their scaled bodies twisting under colorful lights. For the first time in generations, they felt truly unstoppable. Kale became a hero overnight. Statues of him rose on conquered human worlds, made from melted-down human metals. Feasts lasted for weeks. Rich foods from human farms filled their tables. Wines from abandoned vineyards flowed freely. Young Zorith warriors boasted about the easy win. "We are the strongest," they shouted. "Humans are the weakest race ever known." The Empire wasted no time claiming their prizes. Fleet after fleet arrived to take over human planets. Green worlds with clear waters became new homes for Zorith families. Mines rich with rare metals hummed with alien machines. Ships left behind in space docks were repainted black and gold, the colors of the Empire. Engineers marveled at human tech. "So advanced," one said, "yet they left it all for us." Factories started producing weapons from human designs. Trade routes once controlled by humans now flew Zorith flags. The galaxy map changed. Blue human sectors turned red for Zorith control. Kale oversaw it all from his new base on Earth. He sat in a human chair too small for his large frame, signing orders with a claw. "Spread out," he commanded. "Take everything. This is our time." Stories about the retreat grew wilder with each telling. In taverns on distant outposts, Zorith drinkers shared tales. "The humans packed up in one night," one said. "They feared us so much they didn't even say goodbye." Laughter followed. Another added, "Their leaders cried like children when our shadows fell on their sons." Videos of empty cities played on screens everywhere. Children watched and learned, "See how the weak run." Books were written praising the Zorith might. Songs praised Kale as the conqueror without blood. The Empire felt united, stronger than ever. No one questioned the easy victory. Why fight when the enemy hands you the stars? But amid the celebrations, small cracks began to show. On a far human outpost called Delta Station, a team of Zorith scouts landed to claim it. The place looked perfect. Power on, air fresh, supplies stocked. They split up to explore. Hours passed. When the leader called for check-in, 2 scouts did not answer. Searches found nothing. No signs of struggle. No blood. Just empty halls where their footsteps should have echoed. The leader reported back, "They vanished. Like the humans." Kale heard the news during a victory banquet. He waved it away with a full cup. "Accidents happen in new places," he said. "Old traps or bad air. Nothing more." His officers nodded, not wanting to spoil the mood. The party continued louder to drown out doubts. More reports trickled in. On another world, a mining crew disappeared while digging deeper into human tunnels. Tools left behind. Lights still shining. No screams recorded. Just silence. Kale sent investigators. They found only echoes. "Wild animals," he declared, "or unstable ground." But whispers started among the ranks. "The humans left ghosts," some said quietly. "Curses on their worlds." Kale banned such talk. "Focus on the win," he ordered. Public announcements praised the smooth takeover. Billions tuned in to see parades on Earth. Floats shaped like human ships crushed under Zorath boots rolled through streets. Fireworks lit the night sky. The Empire pushed forward, claiming more empty colonies. Yet the strange events did not stop. Lieutenant Zara, who had found the first message, led a team to an old human library on a moon base. Books lined walls in neat rows. Dust-free, as if waiting. They scanned for useful data. One book caught Zara's eye, a thick volume on human history. She opened it. Pages flipped easily. Then she saw underlined words in red ink, "Patience is our greatest weapon." The sentence stood out alone on a blank page. No other marks. Zara froze. "Admiral," she messaged, "you need to see this." Kale arrived quickly, his face stern. He read the words and snarled. "Human nonsense. Burn the book." Flames ate the pages. But Zara could not forget. Patience. For what? The celebrations raged on, but now a shadow hung over them. Scouts avoided dark corners. Warriors checked weapons twice. The galaxy felt too quiet. Deeper in space, the hidden human ship watched. Captain Elena Reyes monitored Zorath signals. "They party like fools," her second said. Elena nodded. "Good. Let them spread thin. Our retreat bought time." The chart glowed with red zones. Ancient dangers stirred there. Humans had known for years. Signals from the void grew stronger. "The Zorath think we ran from them," Elena said softly. "But the real threat wakes soon. We prepare in silence." The ship slipped farther into shadow. Back in the Empire, Kale raised another toast. "To endless victory," he cried. Cheers answered, but some voices faltered. In quiet moments, Zorath wondered, why did humans leave so much? What if they did not run in fear? The stars held secrets, and the party masked growing unease. As months turned to a year, the takeovers slowed. Some human worlds resisted in odd ways. Crops wilted without reason. Water turned bitter. Machines jammed with no fix. Engineers scratched heads. "Human sabotage?" one asked. Kale denied it. Coincidence. But doubt spread like a virus. In private, he stared at maps. Human borders once strong, now his. Yet empty. Too empty. Zara brought more finds. A hidden file in a human computer. Words. "We watch. We wait." Kale deleted it. Propaganda. The Empire pushed on, building forts on human soil. Grand plans for a new capital on Earth. Billions invested. No turning back. One night, on a distant station, a lone Zorath guard heard a whisper. No source. Just air moving. Patience. He ran to report. Others heard it too. Kale called it wind. But sleep came hard now. The victory party faded. Questions lingered. What if the retreat was a trap? The galaxy waited, breath held. Humans gone, but not forgotten. The real story simmered beneath the surface, ready to boil. Years passed quickly in the Zorath Empire after the human retreat. What started as a sudden victory turned into a long era of peace and growth. The galaxy belonged to them now. No more border wars. No rival fleets challenging their rule. Planets once human bloomed under Zorath control. Cities expanded with tall black towers and glowing hives. Families moved in. Children played in parks built over old human streets. Trade ships filled the lanes, carrying goods from one end of the empire to the other. Admiral Kale, now called Supreme Commander Kale, ruled from a grand palace on Earth. He had grown older, his scales darker with time. His voice still carried command, but lines of ease marked his face. The empire felt safe, strong, complete. Daily life flowed smooth for most Zorath. Workers mined deeper into human worlds, pulling out treasures the humans had barely touched. Scientists studied captured human ships and labs. They learned fast. New weapons came from human ideas, improved with Zorath fire. Schools taught the story of the retreat as proof of Zorath greatness. Humans feared us, teachers said. They ran because they knew defeat was certain. Young ones nodded proudly. Pride filled every corner. Parades happened yearly on the day of the takeover. Fireworks shaped like fleeing human ships burst in the sky. Songs praised the silent victory. The name, human, became a joke. Weak as a human meant someone who gave up too easy. Yet under the surface, odd things kept happening. Not big enough to cause panic, but enough to make some Zorath uneasy. Human machines that once worked perfectly now failed slowly. A power plant on New Zorath Prime shut down without reason. Engineers found no damage, no sabotage. Just circuits worn out overnight. On a farming world, irrigation systems stopped pumping water. Crops died in neat rows. Bad luck, the overseers said. But it happened again and again. Different planets. Different machines. Always the same. Sudden quiet failure. No explosion. No spark. Just dead. Then came the whispers. In empty human ships drifting in docks, old AI voices spoke when no one was near. Soft words in human language. Wait. One word repeated like a broken record. Crews sent to investigate found speakers empty. Lights off. But the voice lingered in recordings. Wait. Kale ordered the AIs destroyed. Old junk, he said. Scrap them all. Teams smashed the cores. Silence returned. But some crews swore they heard it again later, faint, from dark corners. Rumors spread quietly in barracks. The humans left echoes, soldiers whispered. They mock us from the grave. Lieutenant Zara, now a captain, led research teams into old human science bases. She had never forgotten the message on the wall or the underlined words about patience. One day her team found a sealed lab deep under a mountain. Inside, lights still glowed weak. Computers hummed softly. They cracked the locks. Data banks opened. Zara scanned files. Most were normal, weather logs, medical records. Then she found a hidden folder labeled Longevity Project. Inside were notes on human biology. Tests showed humans could live far longer than anyone knew. Not just 100 years. Hundreds. Maybe more with their secret treatments. Zara read in shock. They lied about their lifespan, she said to her second. They told us they were short-lived. Fragile. But these records say different. Her team stared. If humans lived so long, why run? Why leave everything behind? Kale came to see the findings himself. He read the data in silence. His claws tapped the table. Tricks, he finally said. They faked records to scare us. But doubt showed in his eyes. He ordered the lab sealed. No one spoke of it outside the circle. Yet the question burned. If humans were not weak in body or mind, why the retreat? Why give up worlds so easily? More signs appeared. On border worlds near the old human edge, nights grew strange. A low hum filled the air after dark. Not loud. Just enough to feel in the bones. It made sleep hard. Zorath woke sweating, hearts racing for no reason. Medics called it stress from new environments. But the hum came every night. Ships patrolling the zone reported the same. Instruments picked it up sometimes. A deep tone from far space. No source found. Kale sent probes. They vanished one by one. No wreckage. No signals back. Just gone. In quiet council meetings, advisors asked careful questions. Supreme Commander, what if the humans knew something we do not? Kale slammed his fist. Enough. We won. They lost. End of story. But alone in his chambers, he stared at star maps. Human space stretched wide once. Now his. Yet parts felt wrong. Too still. Too perfect. He remembered the message, do not follow. For the first time, he wondered why they added those words. Far away, in the hidden depths, Captain Elena Reyes and her crew still watched. Their ship had grown. More joined in secret. They built in silence. The Zorath spread wide, her second reported. They take our bait. Elena looked at screens showing Zorath cities. Good. They waste time on empty prizes. Charts showed the red zones growing brighter. Ancient signals pulsed stronger. The thing stirs, she said. We retreated to face it alone. No distractions. No small wars. Her voice held iron. Patience has always been our strength. Back in the Empire, a young engineer found an old human device in a junk pile. He turned it on by mistake. A soft voice spoke, "Wait." He dropped it fast. The device went dark. He told no one. But fear took root. The piece felt thinner now. Cracks spread slow. The galaxy watched its new rulers celebrate. Yet shadows lengthened. Questions whispered in the dark. What did humans know? Why the long wait? The Empire stood tall. But something unseen waited its turn. The story moved forward. Silent. Patient. Inevitable. The hum started on the border worlds first, soft at the beginning like distant thunder that never came closer. Zorath settlers on planets like Edge 7 and Shadow Rim noticed it during the quiet hours after sunset. It was not a sound you heard with ears alone. It crawled under the skin, made hearts beat faster for no reason. Families woke in the night, staring at dark ceilings, feeling watched. Workers in the fields stopped tools mid-swing, looking around for enemies that were not there. Medics examined hundreds. Nothing wrong, they reported. Just nerves from new places. But the hum returned every night, steady and low, like breathing from something very large and very old. Captain Zara led the first investigation team to Edge 7 after complaints piled up. She landed with 20 armed guards under a sky heavy with stars. The colony looked perfect, lights on in every home, hydrofarms green and growing, streets clean. But faces of the settlers were pale. Eyes wide. "It comes after dark," one farmer told her, voice shaking. No words. Just feeling. Like cold fingers on your neck. Zara set up sensors around the main settlement. Night fell. The hum began right on time. Instruments spiked. A deep frequency, below what most creatures could hear clearly. It pulsed slow, regular. Zara felt it in her chest. Her guards shifted, claws tight on weapons. "Source?" she asked the tech. He shook his head. "Everywhere and nowhere. It spreads from the old human borderline." They traced it outward. The signal grew stronger toward the dark space humans once guarded. Then, as suddenly as it started, the hum stopped at dawn. Silence returned, but the fear stayed. Kale received the report in his palace. He listened without expression. "A noise," he said. "Probably leftover human tech malfunctioning." But Zara pushed. "It affects minds, Supreme Commander. Makes them afraid. And it comes from the direction they retreated to." Kale waved her off. "Coincidence. Focus on expansion." Yet he ordered a small fleet to patrol the border. 3 cruisers, heavy armed, went out under Commander Vex, a veteran known for no fear. They flew along the old human line, scanning every asteroid, every empty station. Days passed with nothing. Then on the 4th night, the lead ship, Stormclaw, sent a garbled message. "Contact, not hostile, wait." Static cut it off. The other 2 ships rushed to help. They found Stormclaw drifting, engines cold, lights dim. No damage. No blast marks. Just empty. Boarding teams moved in careful formation. Corridors silent. Emergency lights glowed red. Food trays sat half-eaten in the mess hall. Chairs pushed back as if people stood up fast. Weapons lay on the floor, untouched. Not one body. Not one drop of blood. The captain's log played on loop in the bridge. Unknown signal. Approaching. Orders to hold position. It feels wrong. Then silence. Zara arrived on the 2nd cruiser. She walked the empty halls, heart pounding. In the engine room, she found a single message scratched into a panel with a claw, human style, not Zorath. Words in their common tongue. "You should have stayed away." Fresh scratches. Done after the crew vanished. Zara stared at the words. "They were here," she whispered. "After we thought they left forever." The news reached Kale fast. He called an emergency council. Advisors argued. Some wanted full retreat from the border. Others said attack whatever was out there. Kale sat quiet, claws digging into his chair arms. "No panic," he ordered at last. "We send a larger force. Find the humans if they hide there. Crush whatever toy they left behind." But his voice lacked the old fire. Doubt had taken root. Zara stood before him later, alone. "Supreme Commander, the message was not old. Someone wrote it recently. Humans, or something wearing their mark." Kale looked at her long. "Then we hunt them. No more games." He turned to the window. Stars looked colder now. Word spread through the Empire in whispers. Soldiers talked in low voices. "The border eats ships," they said. "Whole crews gone. No fight. Just gone." Families on inner worlds started asking questions. Why push farther if it costs lives? Propaganda teams worked overtime. "Minor setbacks," broadcasts said. "Heroes of the Zoroth will prevail." But fear crept in anyway. Recruits hesitated at postings near the line. Veterans requested transfers. The hum grew louder on more worlds. Now it carried faint echoes, words almost clear. "Wait. Watch. Prepare." Settlers begged to leave. Some did, fleeing inward. Kale cracked down. "Deserters will be punished." But empty homes appeared anyway. In the hidden human fleet, Captain Elena Reyes watched the reports flow in. Screens showed Zoroth ships moving toward the Forbidden Zone. "They bite," her second said with a grim smile. Elena nodded. "Let them come closer. The hum is our early warning. The ancient thing stirs because they trespass." She touched a console. A massive shadow shape appeared on deep scans, something huge, older than stars, waking slow from long sleep. We retreated to draw the small threats away. Now the Zoroth chase shadows while the real enemy opens its eyes. Her crew worked in quiet focus. Weapons charged in secret bays. Plans drawn for the day the shadow fully woke. Back on Earth, Kale stood alone in the old human council hall. The screen that once held the message stayed dark. He placed a claw on it. "What did you know?" he muttered. Outside, wind moved through empty streets. The hum reached even here now, faint but growing. He felt it in his scales. For the first time, the great admiral wondered if victory had been too easy. If the retreat was not fear. If it was something much worse. The galaxy held its breath. Ships moved toward the dark. Answers waited there, cold, patient, and hungry. The border called. And something answered. The Forbidden Zone had always been a name whispered in old stories, a black patch on every star map that no sane captain flew toward. The Zoroth called it the Void's Edge. Humans once marked it with red warnings and heavy patrols. Now, with humans gone, the Empire scouts pushed closer every month. Admiral Kale, now Supreme Commander, grew tired of the border losses. Ships vanishing. Crews erased without trace. The hum that haunted nights. He decided enough was enough. "We go in," he declared in a council broadcast seen by billions. "We find what the humans hid. We end their games." Cheers answered from worlds far and near. Pride swelled again. A massive expedition fleet assembled, 30 heavy cruisers, support carriers, science vessels. Commander Vex led the vanguard. Captain Zara joined as chief investigator. They launched with fanfare. Flags snapped in artificial winds. Engines roared. The fleet crossed the old human line like a knife through silk. At first, the zone felt empty. Stars thinned. Light dimmed. Sensors picked up nothing but cold dust and ancient rocks. Days passed in tense quiet. Crews joked to hide nerves. "Where are the monsters?" one asked. Laughter came forced. Then the first human base appeared on long-range scans. A massive structure floating in the dark, hidden behind a dead gas giant. No lights. No signals. But power readings glowed faint. Vex ordered approach. Boarding teams in heavy suits crossed the void. Airlocks opened easy. Inside, corridors stretched long and clean. Lights flickered on as they entered, as if welcoming guests. Walls smooth metal. Floors unmarked. No dust. The place looked new. Built recently. Zara walked point, weapon ready. Her team spread out. Rooms held supplies, food packs sealed, water tanks full, medical bays stocked. Everything perfect. Waiting. Deeper in, they found the command center. Huge screens lined one wall. Most dark. One glowed soft blue. Zara touched it. Maps appeared. Star charts of the Forbidden Zone. Red circles marked points deeper in. Lines connected them like a web. At the center, a massive shape labeled only with a symbol humans used for danger. No words. Just the symbol repeated. Zara felt cold. "This is not abandonment," she said. "This is preparation." Her second scanned data drives. Files opened. Drawings filled screens. Sketches of something enormous. A shadow with tendrils. Eyes like black holes. Notes in human script. It wakes in cycles. Last cycle nearly ended all life. We stopped it once. We will again. Dates stretched back thousands of years. Zara read aloud. Voices hushed. The drawings showed destruction. Planets cracked, fleets swallowed, stars dimmed. One image showed human ships firing into the dark. Winning. Barely. Vex reported back to Kale. They built here in secret. Huge bases. Weapons we do not understand. But empty. All empty. Kale listened from his throne room on Earth. His claws tightened. Search every corner. Find them. Teams pushed farther. Another base. Then another. Each the same. New construction. Advanced tech humming low. Empty halls. Walls covered in more drawings. Giant shadows approaching. Human notes. Small wars waste time. We let the Zorath take the frontier. We focus here. One room held a model. A weapon the size of a moon. Black sphere with energy rings. Label, Final Silence. Zara stared at it. They retreated to build this. Not from fear. From necessity. Her team found logs. Audio from human commanders. Calm voices. The Zorath advance. Let them. Every day they claim empty worlds is a day we gain. Another voice. The Ancient One stirs. Its hunger grows. If we fight on two fronts, we lose everything. The discoveries piled up. Empty barracks with beds made. Kitchens with meals half prepared. Tools laid out. It felt like the humans had stepped out for a moment. But no one returned. In the deepest base, a chamber held something different. A single console. Screen active. Zara activated it. A human face appeared. Older. Tired eyes. If you see this, you followed. You were warned not to. The recording continued. We did not run from you. We retreated to face what comes for all of us. An enemy older than your empire. Hungrier than your ambition. It sleeps no more. We prepare the only way that works, in silence. Away from distractions. If you chase us, you wake it faster. The face leaned closer. Turn back. Stay in your space. Or join the fight when it arrives. Your choice. The screen went black. Zara stood frozen. Vex ordered retreat. But one scout lingered. He touched a panel. Alarms blared soft. Lights shifted red. A new map appeared. The shadow shape moved. Slow. Toward the zone's heart. Toward them. It's closer, the scout whispered. Panic rose. Teams pulled back fast. Ships turned. Engines burned hot. As they fled the zone, sensors screamed. Something massive shifted in the dark. Not attacking. Just aware. The fleet limped home. Losses light. But minds heavy. Kale met them in orbit. Zara stood before him. They knew. They built defenses. For something bigger. She showed recordings. Drawings. The warning. Kale watched in silence. His face hardened. Myths, he said. But his voice cracked. Advisors argued. Some wanted war deeper in. Others begged caution. Kale dismissed them. Alone, he stared at the images. The shadow. The human words. It wakes soon. We prepare. For the first time, the Supreme Commander felt small. In the hidden human armada, Captain Elena Reyes received scout reports. "They found the outer bases," her second said. Elena smiled thin. "Good. Let them see the drawings. Let them feel the truth coming." Screens showed the shadow growing. Tendrils reaching. The Zorath trespass. They speed the awakening. Our patience ends soon. Crew nodded. Weapons primed. The retreat had bought time. Now time ran short. The forbidden zone pulsed with life again. Not human. Not Zorath. Something older. Something inevitable. The galaxy edged closer to the dark. And the dark looked back. The expedition fleet returned to Zorath space, battered not by battle but by silence. Ships docked quietly. Crews disembarked with haunted eyes. Word of the Forbidden Zone bases spread through the Empire like poison in water. At first, officials tried to contain it. "Routine discoveries," announcements said. "Human relics. Nothing more." But soldiers talked. Scouts shared sketches copied from walls. The shadow drawings reached taverns and homes. Families gathered around screens showing leaked images, tendrils wrapping planets, black voids eating stars. Whispers grew louder. "What hunts in the dark?" people asked. "What scared the humans enough to leave everything?" Supreme Commander Kale called for calm in public speeches. His voice boomed across networks. "We are Zorath. We fear nothing. These are old tales meant to frighten children." But in private chambers, he replayed the recordings Zara brought. The human warning face stared back. "It wakes soon." Kale shut it off each time. Yet the words stayed. An old Zorath elder named Thorn requested audience. He was ancient, scales faded to pale gray, eyes milky but sharp. Few listened to elders anymore. Kale granted it out of respect for tradition. Thorn entered the throne room slow. He carried no weapon, only a small crystal data shard from his youth. "I remember," Thorn said in a voice like dry leaves. "Long before your time. Before the Empire rose. A darkness came. It moved between stars. Worlds vanished. Fleets turned to dust. No battle cries. No survivors. Only silence after." Kale leaned forward. "Myths," he replied. Thorn shook his head. "I was young then. A scout on the outer rim. We found one survivor. A human. Barely alive. He spoke of the thing. Called it the Devourer. Said his people fought it alone. Stopped it. Sealed it in the void with great cost." Thorn placed the shard on the table. "Listen." Kale activated it. A faint voice crackled. Human accent. Weak. "We held the line. Paid in blood. It sleeps now. But if disturbed, it wakes hungry. Tell no one. Let the galaxy forget." The recording ended. Kale sat still. Thorn spoke again. "The humans never forgot. They guarded it. When we pushed, they retreated. Not from us. To prepare without our interference." Kale dismissed Thorn. But the words rooted deep. That night the hum reached the capital on Earth. It seeped through palace walls. Guards felt it. Servants woke crying. Kale stood on his balcony. The sound vibrated in his bones. He clenched fists. "Enough," he muttered. He ordered increased patrols. More ships to the border. "Find proof," he told Zara. "Or end the rumors." Zara obeyed. She led teams back to the edge. They listened. The hum had changed. Not just low anymore. Patterns emerged. Almost like code. Scientists analyzed. "It's a signal," one reported. "Repeating. Growing stronger." Zara felt dread. "It's calling something." Then the attacks began. Not from humans. Not from any known enemy. First a mining colony on the fringe. Whole population gone overnight. No wreckage. Buildings intact. Lights on. Food cooling on tables. Just empty. Scouts arrived. Found one word burned into the central tower wall. Hungry. Next came a trade station. Same story. Crew vanished. Cargo untouched. A single massive scorch mark on the hull. Like something brushed past. No laser burns. No impact dents. Just absence. Cale watched reports pile up. Worlds going dark. Communications cut. Rescue fleets sent. Few returned. Those that did brought madness. It moves, survivors whispered. Black. Endless. Eats light itself. Panic spread inward. Families fled core worlds. Ships clogged jump lanes. Economy stuttered. Cale declared emergency rule. We fight back, he broadcast. Whatever this is, we crush it. But his fleets found nothing to fight. Only silence after silence. Zara pieced it together in her lab. She studied the human logs again. Dates matched old Zorath records. Cycles of awakening. Every few thousand years. Humans had records of every one. They fought. Won. At terrible price. They let us take their space, Zara said to her team. To draw attention away. To buy time for their weapon. She pulled up the moon-sized sphere model from the base. Final silence. Designed to end it forever. Her second asked, "Why not tell us?" Zara looked at the stars outside. Because we would not listen. We would fight them instead. Waste their strength on small pride. Cale summoned her. He looked older. Scales dull. "Speak plain," he ordered. Zara did. The humans knew the Devourer. They guarded it. When we advanced, they retreated to focus on the real threat. Now we woke it. By taking what they protected. By pushing into the zone. Cale stared. So they abandon us to die? Zara shook her head. No. They prepare to fight it. Alone if needed. But if we keep chasing shadows, we die first. Cale paced. Pride warred with fear. We are Zorath, he said. We do not hide. Yet doubt won small victories. He cancelled new offensives. Ordered defensive lines. Far in the deep black, Captain Elena Reyes monitored the chaos. Screens showed Zorath worlds flickering out. They finally see, her second said. Elena nodded. Too late to stop the wake. But not too late to fight. Human fleets assembled in secret. Massive. Silent. Weapons tested in void. The Devourer comes, Elena said. We meet it head-on. Let the Zorath watch what real strength looks like. Her voice held no hate. Only resolve. The shadow grew on scans. Tendrils stretching. Hunger plain. The galaxy trembled. Old myths walked again. And in the silence between stars, two races, one proud, one patient, braced for what neither could ignore any longer. The end of easy days drew near. The true war stirred. The first sign of return came without warning. A single small human scout ship appeared on the edge of a Zorath patrol zone near the Forbidden Line. It broadcast no challenge. No weapons powered up. Just a calm, open channel. The human voice spoke clear and steady in the common tongue. This is Captain Reyes of the United Human Fleet. We come to warn you. The Devourer is awake. It moves toward your core worlds now. Run while you still can. The message repeated 3 times, then cut. Zorath commanders froze at their posts. Cale received the alert in his war room. He stared at the tiny blip on the holomap. One ship against his empire. Pride surged. Intercept it, he ordered. Bring them in alive if possible. A squadron of fighters launched fast. They closed in. The scout ship did not flee. It held position. As the Zorath ship surrounded it, the human captain spoke again. We do not come to fight you. We come to save what we can. Turn back. Or watch your people die. The fighters hesitated. Then the scout ship vanished in a flash of jump drive. Gone before a shot fired. Cale slammed his fist on the console. They mock us. But the warning spread. More small human ships appeared over the next days. Not attacking. Just appearing long enough to broadcast. The shadow comes. It hungers for light and life. Evacuate the rim worlds. On one colony, settlers saw a human ship hover above their city. A hologram projected down. The same captain. Elena Reyes. Face calm. You have hours. Pack what you can. Head inward. Do not wait. Some listened. Ships lifted off in panic. Others laughed. Human tricks, they said. They want us weak. Then the first rim world went dark. No explosion. No battle report. Just silence. Communications ceased. Probes sent found empty orbits. Planets still spinning. Cities lit. But no signals. No life signs. Kale watched the report stack. His advisors shouted, "We must strike the humans." Others begged, "Listen to them." Kale stood tall. "We are Zorath. We do not run from shadows." The pride held for one more day. Then the devourer showed itself. A massive darkness bloomed on deep scans. Not a ship. Not a fleet. A living void. Tendrils of black stretched across light years. Stars dimmed in its path. Planets caught in the edge cracked slow. No fire. No sound. Just crumbling. The thing moved deliberate. Hungry. Kale ordered the full fleet to the border. Thousands of ships. The might of the Empire. They formed a wall of steel and fire. "Hold the line," he commanded from his flagship. Warriors cheered. Weapons charged. Then the shadow touched the first ships. No clash. No lasers met. The lead cruisers simply faded. Metal dissolved into nothing. Crews vanished mid-scream. The void swallowed them quiet. Panic rippled back. Ships turned to flee. Too late. Tendrils whipped out. Whole squadrons erased. Kale watched in horror as his armada melted away. "Fire everything," he roared. Missiles launched. Beams cut the dark. Nothing slowed it. The devourer advanced. Relentless. In the chaos, a human fleet appeared. Not small scouts now. Hundreds of massive vessels. Sleek. Silent. Painted black to blend with the void. They did not charge the Zorath. They positioned between the Empire and the Shadow. Elena Reyes broadcast wide. "Zorath forces. This is your final chance. Retreat behind our line. We will hold it as long as we can." Kale stared at the screen. His bridge shook from near misses. Pride cracked. "Why?" he demanded. "Why help us now?" Elena's face filled the hollow. "Because the devourer does not care who started this. It eats all. We retreated to prepare for it. Not to abandon the galaxy. Stand down. Or die proud and useless." Kale looked around. Officers waited. Some nodded. Others gripped weapons tight. He took a breath. "All ships, fall back. Form behind the humans." The order went out. Zorath vessels turned slow. Engines burned away from the dark. The human fleet held position. Weapons unknown to Zorath lit up. Strange energy fields bloomed. Black spheres like the models from the bases. Final silence devices. They fired. Not at the shadow. Into it. Waves of cold nothing rippled out. The devourer paused. Tendrils recoiled. For the first time, it hesitated. Zara stood on a Zorath cruiser watching the battle. Humans fought like machines built for this. Ships danced in patterns no Zorath could match. Sacrificing vessels to draw fire. Launching drones that burrowed into the dark. Explosions bloomed silent in the void. The shadow pushed back. Human losses mounted. Ships crumpled. Crews lost. Yet they held. Elena's voice cut through the noise. "We knew this day would come. We built in silence. Trained in secret. Every world we left was bait to buy time. Now we pay the price." Kale listened. Shame mixed with awe. His empire had claimed victory. Humans had claimed survival. The battle raged. The devourer roared silent fury. Tendrils lashed. Human lines bent but did not break. In the hidden command ship, Elena watched her fleet thin. "Status?" she asked. Her second answered grim. "We hold. But not forever." She nodded. "Then we make it count." She opened a channel to Kale. Supreme Commander. If we fall, remember this. The galaxy is bigger than pride. Bigger than borders. Fight with us, or lose everything. Kale stared at the chaos. His claws dug into the armrest. Human, he said. You were never weak. Elena smiled faint. We were patient. The shadow surged again. The line held by threads. The war had truly begun. Not between races, but against the end of all things. And in that moment, two people stood side by side. One proud, one enduring, facing the dark together. The stars waited to see who would survive the night. The battle line held by the thinnest margin as the devourer pressed forward with endless hunger. Human ships burned bright in the void, their strange weapons carving chunks from the living darkness. Black spheres detonated in slow motion, sending ripples of absolute nothing that made the shadow recoil. Tendrils lashed back, faster now, angrier. A human cruiser sacrificed itself deliberately, engines overloading to ram a thick arm of the void. The explosion lit the dark for a heartbeat, buying seconds for the fleet behind. Zoreth ships watched from safer distance, their crews silent. Pride had turned to stunned respect. Supreme Commander Kale stood on his flagship bridge, eyes fixed on the chaos. His claws no longer gripped in anger. They trembled slightly. They fight like they were born for this, he said to no one. An officer beside him nodded slow. They always were. Captain Elena Reyes directed her forces from the heart of the human armada. Her command ship, the Endurance, sat at the center like an anchor. Screens surrounded her, showing losses in red numbers climbing too fast. Status on the final silence array, she asked calm. Her tactical officer answered. Charging at 60%. We need 5 more minutes. Elena nodded. Then we give them 5 minutes. She opened a wide channel to every ship, human and Zoreth alike. All units. This is not about winning today. This is about surviving long enough to end it forever. Hold your positions. Trust the plan. Human captains responded with short affirmations. Zoreth 1 stayed quiet, but their ships moved forward inch by inch, joining the line without orders. Kale watched them go. He turned to his second. Signal the fleet. We fight with them. No retreat. The order went out. Zoreth vessels surged. Lasers joined the human beams. Missiles streaked into the dark. For the first time, 2 empires fought as one. The truth came out in pieces during the lulls between assaults. Elena broadcast explanations to keep morale high. We did not run from the Zoreth because we feared them, she said over open channels. We retreated because every moment spent fighting small wars was a moment stolen from preparing for this. The Devourer wakes every few thousand years. It has ended civilizations before. Humans have stopped it 3 times in our recorded history. Each time at terrible cost. We built the final silence in secret. A weapon to sever its connection to this reality. To put it back to sleep. Forever if we are lucky. Zoreth listeners absorbed the words. Zara, on a forward cruiser, felt the weight settle. They let us take their worlds, she whispered. To keep us busy. To keep us alive. Kale heard the broadcast too. He stared at Elena's image. You used us as bait. Elena met his gaze through the hollow. We used time. Time you gave us by claiming empty space. Time we needed to finish what we started alone. The Devourer adapted. Tendrils grew thicker, faster. It learned to avoid the black spheres. It wrapped around human destroyers and squeezed until hulls crumpled like paper. Screams filled channels before they cut. Elena watched her fleet shrink. Redirect power from secondary arrays, she ordered. Feed it to the main weapon. Engineers worked frantic. Sparks flew in corridors. The Endurance shook from near hits. A Zoreth ship moved in to shield them. It took a direct tendril strike. The vessel vanished in silence. Kale's voice came over the link. That was the pride of Zoreth. They died to buy you time. Elena nodded once. We will not waste it. The final silence array reached critical charge. A massive ring of human ships formed around the core device. They linked energy fields. A low hum built, different from the border signal. This one carried promise. Power. The shadow sensed the threat. It surged with full force. A wave of darkness rolled toward the human center. Tendrils pierced shields. Ships popped like bubbles. Elena stood firm. Fire when ready. The array lit. A beam of pure absence shot out. Not light. Not energy. Nothingness made weapon. It struck the devourer core. The shadow screamed without sound. The void twisted. Stars behind it flickered back to life. Tendrils thrashed wild. Some ships caught in the backlash dissolved. Human. Zorath. No difference. The beam held. Elena gripped her chair. Push it back. Engineers poured everything into the array. Hulls groaned. Systems failed. The darkness shrank. Inch by painful inch. The devourer fought. It clawed at the beam. Reality bent around the edges. Time felt slow. Kale watched the impossible. The monster that ate his fleet now retreated. They are doing it, he said. Zara beside him smiled thin. They always planned to. The beam intensified. The core of the shadow cracked. A pulse rippled out. The devourer folded in on itself. Tendrils pulled back. The darkness collapsed inward like a dying star. Silence returned. True silence. No hum. No whispers. The void cleared. Stars shone bright again. Wreckage floated everywhere. Human ships. Zorath ships. Twisted metal. Empty space where thousands had stood moments before. Elena exhaled long. Array shutting down. Threat contained. Cheers erupted on surviving bridges. Human and Zorath voices mixed. Kale opened a channel. Captain Reyes. Your people saved us. Elena looked tired but steady. We saved what was left. The cost was high. She paused. We will not ask for thanks. We will not ask for territory. We ask only one thing. Kale waited. Stay in your space. Do not push into the forbidden zone again. Do not wake what sleeps. Kale bowed his head slight. Agreed. The channel closed. Human ships began to withdraw. Slow. Damaged. But proud. Zorath vessels watched them go. No pursuit. No anger. Only quiet understanding. The galaxy breathed again. Worlds mourned losses. Rebuilding started. But the story of the retreat changed forever. Humans had not run in fear. They had stepped back to carry the heaviest burden alone. Patience had been their greatest weapon. And in the end, it saved everyone. Kale stood on his bridge, looking at the stars. We thought we conquered them, he said soft. They conquered time itself. The war ended not with victory parades, but with silence. A new silence. One of respect. And watchful peace. The devourer slept once more. Humans retreated again. Into the shadows they knew best. Guarding. Waiting. Ready if the dark ever stirred. The final battle unfolded in the heart of the void where light itself seemed to bend and break. The devourer had pulled back from the initial strike but not retreated. It coiled tighter now, its massive form a swirling storm of absolute black that swallowed sensors and hope alike. Tendrils reformed thicker, sharper, tipped with edges that cut through shields like paper. Human ships formed a desperate sphere around the final silence array. The moon-sized weapon hummed with building power, its core glowing faint blue as engineers fed it every last drop of energy. Zorath vessels flanked the humans, their once proud black hulls scarred and smoking. Supreme Commander Kale stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Iron Fong, now a battered relic. He watched the tactical display flicker. Red icons vanished one after another. They die for us, he said quiet. An officer beside him answered. And we die with them if we must. Elena Reyes commanded from the Endurance. Her voice stayed steady over every channel. All ships. This is the moment. The array needs clear shots. Draw the tendrils. Sacrifice if you have to. We end this here. Human captains responded without hesitation. Smaller destroyers broke formation. They raced forward in suicide runs. Engines flared white-hot. They slammed into the nearest tendrils. Explosions bloomed silent. Chunks of darkness tore away. The devourer roared without sound. The void shook. A massive arm whipped out and caught 3 human cruisers at once. Metal crumpled inward. No escape pods launched. Just gone. Another wave of Zorath fighters joined the fray. They had no fancy weapons like the humans. Just raw firepower and courage born of shame turned to resolve. Lasers raked the shadow. Missiles burrowed deep. Small victories. Small costs. A Zorath pilot broadcast his last words. For the Empire. For the humans who saved it. His ship vanished in fire. The array reached full charge. A deep vibration ran through every surviving vessel. Elena watched the power meter hit maximum. "Fire!" she ordered. The beam lanced out again. Thicker this time. Brighter absence. It struck the devourer core dead center. The shadow convulsed. Tendrils lashed wild in every direction. One caught the Endurance. The ship tilted hard. Alarms screamed. Bulkheads buckled. Elena gripped her console. Hold steady. Divert all power to shields. Crew worked frantic. The beam held. The darkness cracked wider. Fractures spread like ice under pressure. Inside the fractures, faint light leaked through. Old stars. Forgotten worlds. The devourer fought back with everything left. It pulled the surrounding space inward. Ships dragged closer against their will. Engines burned full reverse. Some held. Some did not. A Zorath battlecruiser vanished into the maw. Kale watched it go. His claws dug grooves into metal. "We owe them everything," he muttered. Elena saw the core fracturing. Secondary arrays. Now. Smaller beams joined the main one. They stabbed from every angle. The devourer twisted. It tried to fold away. To retreat into deeper nothing. Humans did not let it. Drones swarmed. They planted charges on the edges of the fractures. Detonations rippled inward. The shadow screamed silent fury. Reality tore. A pulse wave rolled out. It knocked ships spinning. Shields flared and died. Hulls cracked. The Endurance lost gravity for seconds. Crew floated. Then it returned. Elena pulled herself up. Push harder. The array poured final power. The beam intensified. The core shattered. A blinding flash of nothing. The devourer collapsed in on itself. Tendrils snapped like broken ropes. The void rushed to fill the space. Darkness imploded. A shockwave hit. Every ship rocked. Systems shorted. Lights flickered. Silence followed. True silence. No hum. No hunger. Just empty black dotted with stars again. Surviving ships drifted in the wreckage field. Human vessels burned low. Zorath ones listed heavy. Kale opened a channel to the Endurance. Elena appeared on screen. Face pale. Uniform torn. But alive. "It's over," she said. Kale nodded slow. "You did what we could not." Elena looked past him to the stars. "We did what we had to. Together." Reports came in. Losses catastrophic. Half the human fleet gone. A third of the Zorath armada erased. But the devourer was sealed. Not dead, perhaps, but asleep deeper than before. The final silence had worked. The cycle broken. Maybe forever. Zara stood on a Zorath rescue ship picking through debris. She found a human escape pod drifting. Inside, a young pilot barely breathing. She pulled him out. He opened eyes. "Did we win?" Zara nodded. "You won for all of us." He smiled weak, then passed out. She carried him to Med Bay. In that moment she understood. Humans had not retreated in weakness. They had retreated in strength. Strength to wait. To build. To sacrifice. Kale broadcast to his people. "The war is ended. Not by Zorath might alone. But by alliance born of necessity. Honor the humans. Remember their patience." Cheers rose soft on bridges. Not victory cheers. Relief cheers. Gratitude cheers. Elena gathered her remaining captains. We returned to our space. No claims. No demands. One asked, "What if it wakes again?" She looked at the quiet void. "Then we will be ready. As always." Human ships turned slow. Engines glowed faint. They slipped away into the dark they knew best. Zorath watched them go. No pursuit. No suspicion. Only respect. Kale stood alone on his bridge. He touched a hollow image of the battle. "They were never weak," he whispered. "We were the ones who did not see." The stars shone peaceful. Worlds began to heal. Stories spread. Not of conquest, but of the day two peoples faced the end and chose to stand together. The galaxy changed. Not with flags or borders, but with quiet understanding. And in the silence that followed, a new era began. Watchful. Patient. Ready. The silence after the battle felt heavier than any war cry ever could. Wreckage drifted in slow, lazy spins across the void where the Devourer had once ruled. Twisted metal from human ships mixed with shattered Zorath hulls. No flags flew. No victory horns sounded. Just quiet. Endless quiet. The surviving vessels limped away from the center of destruction. Engines burned low to save power. Life support systems flickered on emergency reserves. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the battered Endurance. Her uniform hung torn and stained. One arm wrapped in a hasty bandage. She looked out at the stars through cracked viewports. They shone brighter now. Cleaner. The shadow was gone. Sealed deep where even dreams could not reach it. She exhaled long and slow. "All hands," she said into the ship-wide calm we held. "The cycle is broken. For now." Soft cheers rose from exhausted crew. Not loud. Just grateful. They had paid in blood and steel. But the galaxy still breathed. Zorath ships gathered in loose formation nearby. Supreme Commander Kale walked the corridors of the Iron Fong. His once shining scales dull with soot and scars. Officers saluted as he passed. Their eyes held something new. Not fear. Not pride alone. Respect. Deep and hard one. He reached the observation deck. Stars stretched infinite. He placed a claw on the cool glass. "We thought we conquered," he whispered. "We were the ones conquered by our own blindness." Zara joined him. She had lost her second-in-command in the final push. Her voice stayed steady. "They never asked for our thanks. They never demanded our worlds back." Kale nodded once. "And we will not forget it." He turned to her. "Send the order. All Zorath forces withdraw from former human territories. No occupation. No claims. Let the empty worlds stay empty." Zara's eyes widened slight. Then she smiled thin. "Understood, Supreme Commander." The message went out across the fleet. Ships turned. Engines flared toward home stars. No argument. No protest. The Empire had learned. Human vessels began their own quiet departure. Small groups peeled away first. Scouts slipping into jump lanes toward hidden bases. Larger ships followed slower. Repair crews worked round the clock on hull breaches. Med bays overflowed with wounded from both sides. Elena walked among them. She stopped at a berth where a young Zorath soldier lay bandaged. He had been pulled from wreckage by human rescuers. His eyes opened as she approached. "You fought well," she said simple. He tried to sit up. "Your people saved us." Elena placed a hand on his shoulder gentle. "We saved what matters. Life. Not borders." She moved on. In the command center she met with her remaining officers. "We return to our enclaves," she told them. "Rebuild in silence. Watch the dark. Train the next generation. The Devourer sleeps. But sleep is not death." Heads nodded. Plans formed fast. No celebrations planned. Just work. Endless work. As the fleets separated, a final transmission came through. Kale's face appeared on Elena's main screen. No ceremony. No titles flaunted. Just him. Captain Reyes. The Zorith Empire owes you a debt we cannot repay. But we will honor it. Your space remains yours. We will not cross the old lines again. And if the shadow ever stirs, call. We will answer. Elena looked at him long. We will call if needed. But hope it never comes to that. Kale bowed his head slight. The first time any Zorith leader had done so to a human. The screen went dark. Elena turned away. A small smile touched her lips. Not triumph. Relief. Months passed in the galaxy. Worlds began to heal. Zorith planets mourned their dead with quiet rituals. Names carved into black stone. Stories told around fires of the day pride met patience and both survived. Human colonies in deep space grew again. New ships built in hidden yards. Children learned the old lessons. We do not boast. We prepare. Empty human worlds left behind stayed untouched. Cities stood silent. Lights still glowed in some windows from automatic systems. Farms waited under stars. No one claimed them. They became monuments. Reminders. The galaxy learned a new truth. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it waits. One quiet night on Earth, Kale stood in the old council hall. The screen that once held the message stayed dark forever. He looked at the empty streets outside. Wind moved flags long faded. He spoke to the silence. You left this for us to learn. No answer came. None needed. He turned and walked out. The Empire moved forward. Smaller in reach. Larger in wisdom. Far away, Elena sat in her new command center. A simple room on a hidden moon. Charts showed the void. Quiet. She touched a console. A soft voice played back an old recording. Patience is our greatest weapon. She smiled. Always was. The stars turned slow. Peace held. Watchful. Fragile. True. No war declared. No threats made. Humans simply retreated. Because the real war had never been with the Zorith. It had been with time itself. And time they had won. For everyone. The end came not with thunder. But with silence. A good silence. One that promised tomorrow.